Hey students, this is Mary, your librarian here at SCTCC, and my gosh, congratulations to you. If you're watching this, you may be graduating. And if you're not graduating right now, you will be graduating, and that is always fantastic. So we're going to talk today about just a little bit of prep work that you should be doing before you graduate. I'm going to say one of the things is, I know, the last thing you want to have to do while you're in the middle of finals and everything else is what are you going to do 2 weeks from now when you are done and you're graduated and you're done with school, or at least you're done with school for the summer? Before you get to that point, you want to have a plan. Are you done? Congratulations. Very exciting. Of course, a lot of our students are finished with a certificate or with a degree or whatever they need. They're done when they finish with us. Fantastic. I hope you've already been to the career services to talk about how you interview so you present yourself well, how you write a good resume so you look good on paper, how you write a good cover letter. The resume, the cover letter, the interviewing, that matters so much. You really cannot just fling something out there and just call it a day. I get dismayed with the generational pretend conflict that social media tries to stir up. But I will say, back in the day of the baby boomers before me, it was easier to apply for jobs. It wasn't easier to get a job, but it was easier to apply for them. And then there weren't as many applications. And even when I started, when I left college, we had to use typewriters or, I mean, printers were kind of a thing, but I mean, I didn't have a computer or a printer. And you had to type out your resume. You had to put it in the mail. You had to mail a cover letter. That cuts down on the number of applications. People just aren't going to apply for 100 different jobs. But now, of course, you can just go to Indeed.com or LinkedIn or your professional organization's website or whatever, and you could apply for 100 jobs before lunch tomorrow. That's awesome, but just keep in mind, see all those other people? They're also applying for 100 jobs. So your resume, your cover letter, they need to be sharp. They need to stand out. That doesn't guarantee you're going to move to the next level, but it matters. It's important. You will not move to the next level if your paperwork is a mess. So know how to write a professional letter. Know how to address your cover letter. If you just write on it something like, hey, I'm looking for a job, I'm going to tell you, you didn't get hired right there. I have read hundreds of resumes, hundreds of cover letters. I have hired people. I have taught people how to write resumes and cover letters. And yeah, every job I've ever posted, and this has been over decades, every job I've ever posted, at least 100 people have applied for. I would guess almost every job that you're going to apply for today, just in the last couple of years, think 200 or 300 people are going to apply for that same job. It's tough. That's rough. You have to look good. You have to know how to sell yourself. And the way you sell yourself is a resume and a cover letter. Hopefully, then, success is moving on to getting an interview. That's a separate step. Those are a separate set of skills. You have to know how to go to an interview. You have to be able to, this is going to sound obnoxious when I say it. I'm sorry, I don't mean it to be obnoxious. You have to be able to act like an adult. You have to be able to act like a professional. And I know many of you here seem very young to me, but you're not. You are adults. And so you need to be able to hold a conversation. You need to know how to look someone in the eye without being scary like that. You need to be able to talk briefly and concisely, but in a very winning way about why someone should hire you. So if when I'm asking you questions, it doesn't matter in the interview really what my question is. I mean, if I ask a question, do you know how to install a carburetor? need to be able to say yes and follow up with a couple of details. If I ask you, do you know how to operate? What's the latest sonography machine that you know how to work with? Be able to say what it is and how you do something with it. I'm sorry, I'm not a sonographer. Things like that. But if I ask you, so tell me, what are your strengths? Tell me what's your greatest weakness. When I'm the interviewer, I don't actually care what you're answering. Don't say things though, like, "Ah, I really struggle with getting up in the morning. It's so hard." Don't do that. Um, I know for a while, and I haven't heard about this happening any lately, but for a while it was kind of trying to ask these weird questions like, what kind of tree would you like to be? And again, I don't care. I just want to know. There's not a right answer. I just want to know what you're going to say. So if I say to you, what kind of tree would you like to be? I mean, you can say, I'd like to be an oak tree because it's very punctual. It knows how to do strategic planning. It follows through with its acorns. It's not important what I've just said, but the points that I'm making. I know that being on time is important. I know that being part of the team is important. I know that being able to create a strategic plan is important. I know that being able to follow through on work demands is important. I'm going to say all those words. Likewise, we were just talking about when I said, tell me about your greatest strengths, tell me about your greatest weakness. Yes, these are incredibly stupid questions from a lazy interviewer, but here we are in the world where those questions get answered or get asked. So if they ask you about your greatest strength, don't say, I don't know. I was so embarrassed. I can't talk about myself. I was in an interview not too long ago where the candidate wasn't quite as bad as I was just being, but yes, said that. Are you kidding me? The interview is the time where you talk about it. So before you go to the interview, have something you can talk about. Oh, let me tell you about, do you want to know about my greatest strength? Well, of course, it'd be hard to pick, but let me tell you about this one thing that I did. And maybe it's something that you did on a job and you got an award, or you succeeded on a deadline and you got everything happen, or you got everybody together and you all worked together. Or, I mean, maybe it's something that you did at home. Are you a parent? Are you an older sibling? Let me tell you, my greatest success was when I finally got my toddler sleep trained, and we were all able to have a better sleeping experience. And so when we went to the park the next day, it was awesome. I don't know, something. It doesn't really matter what you say, but have a good thing to say. So then the interviewer, me in this case, is like, oh, that is interesting. You know what? You sound like an interesting person. I would like to know more. I always tell my students with this, I spend more time with my colleagues. I spend more time at work than I do with my husband. I like my husband. I want people at work to be worth it. So if I'm hiring, I want to have people around who are interesting, not people just like me. I want to have people who are interesting, who are going to bring something to the party. And if all they bring is mumble, mumble, no, thank you. Same thing with the question, what is your worst quality? I mean, don't tell me you're a puppy killer. That would be awful. No puppy kickers. Got it? I would never hire a puppy kicker. But say something like, well, something that I've had feedback on in the past is that I have tended to procrastinate a little bit. This is how I have worked to improve that. Or one problem that I used to have was that I wasn't keeping my schedule well enough. And so what I have done is, and now I've fixed it. You always want to turn that into a strength. You always want to turn that into a growing opportunity. Does that make sense? When you go to our career services over in the main building over there in Northway, they can help. They'll give you better answers. They'll be more helpful to you and they'll help you really work with your specific situation. They're so good over there. I really, honestly, and I have not been to a lot of good career services offices, but our one here is it's good and it's helpful. And you don't have to do this before you graduate. You can be ready to go, or it's always available to you. You're one of us. You're part of the SETCC community, so that's always available to you. It's good to remember that for later. Okay, so that's what you're going to do if you're getting ready to graduate and you're ready to move into the work world, even if you're just ready to move into a summer job. What if what you are ready to do now is to move into a four-year college or move to another two-year college and you're working on another program? Fantastic. I hope you've already applied. This is late. This is very late if you're applying right now. If you're watching this, not in real time, but maybe you're watching this next semester, remember, you need to be applying, hopefully um, months in advance. Every college is going to have their own application deadlines. You may still be able to get in off of a wait list later, but get in early. When you go to register for classes, get in early. I know here, I feel like it's it's easy and you can get in anytime and there's not such big pressure to apply and there's not big pressure to get into classes for the most part. Once you're in a program, you're in. It's not like this most other places, and especially when you start to get into like four-year colleges, universities, graduate schools, the day that you can get in and apply for classes, the day you can register, get in and register on that day because they fill. And man, I have met students, I have known people who weren't able to graduate because they're missing one class. You don't want to be that person. It's awful. So plan ahead. Just be kind of ready. And you don't have to know everything. This is going to be my final point before we go look at resources. You do not have to know right now what you're doing for the rest of your life. It doesn't, honestly, it doesn't even matter what you do right now. What you're doing 5 years from now is going to be different than you think it's going to be today. What you're doing 10 years from now probably doesn't even exist. What you're doing 20 years from now, I mean, you're going to be in like the third different entire professional field from where you are right now. That's fine. Don't worry about it. You don't have to know everything. That's not a thing. That's not a requirement. What you need to do now is figure out what am I doing this summer? What am I doing this fall? What is my overall plan for the next couple of years? Things may change, things can happen, but figure out for yourself what you want. It's too easy to just kind of drift along and just think, I don't know. I mean, I was going to go on to university, and I mean, they kind of sounded like they were going to offer me a scholarship, but I didn't get the paperwork in, and then I don't know, I just didn't feel it. Yeah, and now I still live in my mom's basement, and I'm 40, and I don't have a job that I like, and I'm only working part-time, and I'm pretty miserable. I don't want that for you. I don't want that to be you. I'm not casting blaming types of aspersions on people who live in their mom's basements or whatever. This may be wonderful if it's a choice. You don't want to drift in and just have bad things happen to you in your life because you didn't make good choices for yourself. What do you want? What's going to make you happy? Do you already have a family that needs to be supported? Fantastic. That's gonna curtail some of your choices, but it's going to give you a lot of opportunity to really kind of push yourself along. So anyway, you don't have to know everything right now, but be making choices for you, for things that you're going to want. Does that make sense? All right, let's briefly go in and let's look at, I'm sharing my screen, and we're just going to look at a few resources. These are going to be linked down below. So now this is obviously diplomaframe.com, and they're trying to sell you stuff. You don't have to buy stuff if you don't want to. I don't care. I'm definitely not getting a kickback from whoever these people are. I never heard of them before this. But the idea of just making sure you have enough credits Yeah, that happens. And I mentioned that early. You want to know that in advance. The required paperwork, that was April 15th, and I it's about that each year. So if you're watching this again in later semesters, yeah, be sure you actually applied to graduate. Final payments. All right, now I'm going to tell you an embarrassing story. I graduated from graduate school and my parents were so excited and they came to see me and they couldn't have been happier because I was a difficult child. And they thought that this I was finally going to be like a responsible grown up now. We were all wrong about that. So I get a very nice envelope up at the front. Everyone gets these very nice envelopes with their diplomas in it. And so I meet my parents at the end and they're like, oh, okay, finally, our child is a responsible adult. Let's see your diploma. And I open up my envelope and it's a bill from the library. I did not get my diploma. I mean, I did later, but I didn't get my diploma because I owed the library $50. $50. What is that? That's a disaster. I don't know. Did that maybe make me become a librarian? It did not. Don't be as dumb as I am, okay? And if you see my mom, nobody talked about this, all right? She's still kind of mad at me about that. All right, order your cap and your gown early. Now, and I'm going to say people like to get lots of bling on your stuff and you like to order things. Keep in mind that every single piece of bling that I mean, decorating your cap is fun, but every single thing that you get with cords and sashes and the thingy on your cap, I don't know. All of that costs money. Um, and maybe that's important to you, and fantastic. I support that for you. If it's not that important to you, um, you maybe think about not spending a fortune. You can go online and buy stuff much cheaper than it might be elsewhere. So that's definitely something to decide for yourself. I every year, every semester, people ask me, "Oh, am I doing this the right way? Is this the right thing? Should I have this?" I'm like, "Who cares? It's your graduation. If you want to have a whole bunch of stuff and celebrate all the awesomeness that you had, then fantastic. I love that. It's always cool to see. If what you want to do is just have your standard black um, robe and cap, do that. There's not a wrong way. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm just using a lot of words. Okay, graduation invitations. Um, I think our graduation is pretty open. Pretty much anybody can come, but I've been in other schools where like two people in your family could come and that's it. So, just check around and make sure that whatever semester you're watching this, that it's all going to work out. And yeah, make sure that you exchange some contact information. These people who you meet here, they're going to be around for the rest of your life. Even if you're not friends, you're probably all here in this geographic area. They will also be in this geographic area. We're switching to our next thing, but that idea of solidifying relationships, I've talked about this in a lot of different videos that we've done all year. Getting jobs, moving forward in your career, having a successful, happy, fulfilled life. It's a lot of that, not everything, but a lot of that is the relationships that you build. Being here is the place to make a lot of relationships. So if you haven't already met people, okay, you have a little bit of time. Um, at least meet one person, somebody you can say, oh, wow, that sounds really interesting. If you've got some time this summer, could we go out and just get some coffee and let's talk about the exciting world of welding together, or the exciting world of history, or nursing, or the library? Say, hey, did you go to the library? Because I went and it was kind of cool. Would you like to go over there with me? There you go. It's pretty easy way. You don't have to be best friends with everybody, but be thinking, how are you going to connect with people? Build your resume. So a lot of that idea of soft skills. that matters. So hopefully you got involved with things while you were here and you did some volunteering or you were part of an organization or internships. Yeah, I've read this before. I know that's difficult for a lot of our students because you have obligations that prevent you from getting involved in things that really that they're not going to pay you or it's just it's too much. And I get that. And don't worry. But if you were working part-time, working full-time, things like that, or I mean if you have 20 kids at home, then you're raising them to not be puppy kickers. Fantastic. Be able to talk about that, be able to say all this. I mean, if you're involved in your church or your mosque, great. That might also be something to talk about. Be sure everything's turned in. Again, you don't want to get to the end of the semester and you're like, I hate this dumb place. I hate this teacher. I hate this school. I can't wait to be free. And then you don't turn in your paper or you fail your final exam. Mm, that's upsetting way to have to come back and finish a class. Be budgeting, moving. If you were, most of our students are not on campus, but uh, understand that student loan repayments are hard. It's a different video. Come talk to me. I have things. Uh, but it's good to be thinking about work-life balance, and hopefully, while you were in school, that was an opportunity for you to think about work-life balance. It's okay. You won't be perfect at it, but keep working. All right. This is another, again, a commercial business. So I'm not telling you to buy things from them. I just kind of like the information that they had. So 4 to 6 months before, hopefully, that got done. Ordering your cap and gown. I don't know that we have class rings, but I honestly, maybe, sorry, I'm not so involved. Um, Make sure that you're filling things out if you're having a graduation party, because, eh, you know, this is a big deal. All of this work that you have been doing, this is hard. And it's hard. And if everybody could do this, they would have been doing it. You should take some time to celebrate. So if your graduation party is, I don't know, you sitting in a park and having a slice of cake or something and just quietly being happy for yourself, awesome. Or if it's all of your family and your friends and people from out of town and awesome. But do something to celebrate. All right, so yeah, make sure you've got everything. Um, don't don't worry about trying to be perfect with your graduation attire. It's like weddings. I've done a bunch of graduations. I've done just been part of the one wedding. Um, you there are a lot of dumb rules out there. Do whatever you want. Okay, let's go on to our next one. And it's basically the same kind of information. So make sure you did everything. Apply, check your records again. Don't be as dumb as me and owe the library money and so you don't get a diploma. Ugh, that's just silly. Um, Preparing, yeah, paying for this. Yeah, that was a very hard meeting when I had to go to that meeting and they were like, "Oh, you know how you haven't been deeply in debt for your entire life? Uh, yeah, you are now." So, and figuring out where are you living? Whether you have been living with your parents or you have been living in a dorm situation, whatever. Mm, yeah, you may be moving someplace and be thinking about that. All right. I'm going to stop sharing. My computer is going to restart. Anyway, on the one hand, I want to say, tamp down your anxiety, okay? You're going to be fine. You've had the opportunities here for a good education and good background. You've had the opportunity to meet people and do a lot of things. That will take you places. You don't have to be perfect at it. Just keep trying. If while you were here, maybe you didn't take advantage of all the opportunities, the world does not stop. Okay. Just keep working now. Keep thinking, what could I be doing now to build my resume, build my skills, build and make sure that I look as awesome and swank as I possibly can. All right. Get ready to graduate. Am genuinely, I love to go to students' graduations. I will be there. I have a big blue graduation regalia that I'll be wearing. You'll see me. I will be really excited for you. All right. Let's go be awesome. Enjoy your graduation, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.